Hey everybody, Matty here with Altcoin Buzz. Happy Thursday. Things are looking pretty good right now for Bitcoin. Never financial advice, of course, but the pattern that it's currently pursuing is one that would suggest a break, perhaps to the upside, perhaps to the downside. We're not sure, but something should happen later in the day today, perhaps by Friday, so we'll be staying tuned on that. On the heels of that, we have some great news possibly propelling an upside move. The S&P Dow Jones indices are launching crypto indices, so specific cryptocurrency indices for the first time in 2021. Reuters and a lot of the other legacy publications are covering this news. It is very serious indeed. We're going to be comparing kind of this sentiment right now in Bitcoin and blockchain and cryptocurrency to the traditional quantitative easing monetary and fiscal policies right now that are just so underwhelming and honestly kind of depressing for a lot of people. We'll be discussing the fact that Coinbase has added new support for Ethereum 2.0 tokens. We also have news out of crypto.com, CRO. They've opened up margin trading on their exchange. Guys, if you like this kind of content, Bitcoin, blockchain, and cryptocurrency, then be sure to like and subscribe. Today in the markets, we're looking pretty good, up 1.9%. Right now, Bitcoin is just below $19,400 at the time of this recording. We also have some other projects. I mean, across the board, we do have some altcoin projects that are up. They're doing pretty well. I want to highlight the fact that VeChain, as I record right now, is up 15% on the day. So VET up 15% to now above 1.7 cents US. Just want to point out, guys, that VeChain was one of our picks earlier, I guess last week at this point, really an altcoin to watch out for. If you're not following our suggestions, you guys are missing out on similar gains. Very happy to announce VeChain up 15%, up 12% above Bitcoin right now. So again, I don't want to provide any financial advice here, but according to a lot of the analysts, Bitcoin does look like it's ready to do something. It's ready to shake things up one way or the other. Pentoshi here on Twitter. BTC looks like it's ready to make its big move in the next 24 to 48 hours with this compression just under all-time highs. They're referring to the fact that you have this symmetrical triangle here and this coiling of Bitcoin in this range now of about $1,000, and then it was oscillating in a range of about $800, and now it's kind of getting finer and finer and finer. So Crypto here. Wait for the volume and confirmation for this potential Bitcoin breakout. However, I do want to caution you guys that's a breakout that could occur to the upside. It could equally occur to the downside. So just kind of be prepared either way and stay on your toes, basically, is the only advice that I'm willing to give here. Blockfolio, however, highlighting some very important news that could perhaps help propel a move, a push toward the upside. S&P Dow Jones indices are going to be launching cryptocurrency indices for the first time next year in 2021 using data from 550 of the top trading coins. That's according to Reuters. Here's the report. S&P Dow Jones indices to launch crypto indices in 2021. This from the 3rd of December. Fresh news. So the S&P Dow Jones indices said on Thursday that they're going to be launching crypto indices in 2021, making it the latest major finance company to enter the nascent crypto asset class. Guys, this comes on the heels of what we discussed yesterday. BlackRock's CEO Larry Fink praising Bitcoin. You had Dan Schulman of PayPal also adding additional support for Bitcoin. Now you have the S&P Dow Jones. We're going to see our very own cryptocurrency indices next year. I know a lot of you guys are not necessarily on board with, the whole traditionalizing, if you will, of Bitcoin into its own legacy style index, but this I think is a good move towards mass adoption if nothing else. But let's continue. S&P's clients will be able to work with the index provider to create customized indices and other benchmarking tools on cryptocurrencies, S&P and Lucas said in a joint statement. And the idea here is to look for more reliable pricing data, which will then ultimately make it easier for investors to access the new asset class and reduce some of the risks of the very volatile and, as we know, speculative market. Quote, with digital assets such as cryptocurrencies becoming a rapidly emerging asset class, the time is right for independent, reliable, and user-friendly benchmarks, said Peter Rothman, Global Head of Innovation and Strategy at S&P Dow Jones Industries. Covered it yesterday, guys, but remember what Larry Fink said is that the client interest is unlike anything else. And on BlackRock, Box homepage, you had 600,000 searches for the term Bitcoin versus only 3,000 for COVID in a comparable time span. So if this is something that's grassroots, if this is what clients are kind of pining for and this is what they want to see, this is just an answer to that demand that S&P Dow Jones is trying to provide. And of course, the goal here, as Reuters puts it, the move by one of the world's most well-known index providers could help cryptocurrencies become more mainstream investments, which from my perspective is good for kind of our gang, right? If we're kind of already in this space, if we already have our feet planted in the water and we've kind of staked out a position, then we can brace ourselves for the next wave of adoption. We only stand to benefit. I see it very positively. Of course, the S&P Dow Jones is not the only major player in this space. We've been covering the fact for years that firms increasingly like Fidelity Investments and now Japan's Nomura Holdings Inc. have started safeguarding Bitcoins and other cryptos for institutional investors, while major exchanges have started offering Bitcoin derivatives. And you can also read about that same story here on finextra.com, as well as a plethora really of other outlets. I want to touch on that last point that was made by Reuters about how more and more, I guess, not only traditional investment houses, traditional services are kind of now supporting crypto, but you have new services that are emerging, and kind of a combination of the old and the new. Grayscale comes to mind, for example. Grayscale GBTC is the method by which the Guggenheim investment fund, they're putting $500 million into Bitcoin. That's going to be their largest portfolio holding. They're going with the GBTC option. So they're going with Grayscale. And here's the interesting thing about Grayscale. Check out this metric. Grayscale Bitcoin Trust bought nearly 2 times the total amount of Bitcoin mined during November 2020. So again, in November of 2020, last month, you had 27,881 Bitcoin that were mined. That's a fixed quantity. That's a sum that doesn't really fluctuate. You know, those are determined by the blocks, those are determined by the difficulty. That doesn't change until the next halving event. What does change, however, is the amount that any one individual or institution can buy. And because Grayscale here bought 55,000 Bitcoin, just about twice as much as was mined, you can clearly see that the demand is outpacing the supply. In fact, a lot, by a 2-to-1 margin. Now let's take the opposite perspective entirely. Consider the US dollar and Tim Pool's observation here. I don't know if you guys follow Tim Pool, whether on YouTube or on Twitter, but I think he's a great kind of middle of the road critical thinker, classical liberal. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, I would check out Tim Pool. If you're at all into politics and maybe political culture, I think he's great. I don't want to set the world on fire. Here's what he posts. 23.6% of all US dollars were created in the last year, in the last 12 months. So 0.6% of all US dollars were created, printed in the last year. You have the total opposite effect here. You have US dollars that are in this overabundance that is going to ultimately and inevitably, mathematically lead to inflation. It's the total opposite scenario of what we have with Bitcoin, where the demand simply cannot keep up with the supply. And as supply continues to dwindle, as subsequent halvings are going to take effect based on the algorithm, this ratio is only going to shift. You're going to have more being bought, less being produced in perpetuity for the next 5 years, 10 years, 50 years, 100 years plus. It's guaranteed. And therefore, this statistic here stands in stark contrast to the appeal of that Bitcoin algorithm that so many people are waking up to right now. And I think, a little bit of almost like poetry here and philosophical thinking, pontification. But Dan held Bitcoin is a declaration of monetary independence. And in many senses, it is when you consider the alternatives as we just saw. Max Kaiser, Bitcoin is staging a 51% attack against global fiat money. It's another way to put it, a little bit more hyperbolic, but you could look at it that way. Again, these trends are only going to be exacerbated. They're only going to accelerate with time. Sooner or later, we will break through the 20K mark. And here's an interesting metric as well. At $20,160, Bitcoin will flip the monetary base size of Poland's złoty, their national currency. In the very near future, we're going to be talking about other larger, more prosperous kind of G7 style nations. It's just a matter of time. It is inevitable. Switching gears now on altcoinbuzz.io, let's talk a little bit about Ethereum 2.0 and the fact that Coinbase has added support for those tokens. This article is by Rachel. The much anticipated Ethereum 2.0 beacon chain upgrade has finally gone live. So if you've not yet heard much about the Ethereum 2.0 upgrade, it's something that is expected to take place in stages. And the first phase or the first stage of the upgrade, known as beacon chain, took place a couple of days ago on the 1st of December 2020. This is a result of the platform meeting its benchmark benchmark of staked tokens and validators a few hours before the deadline. And the good news is that Coinbase is a platform that is lending support to this Ethereum upgrade. So those users that want to participate will be able to convert Ethereum to the recently launched ETH 2.0 tokens. And they'll also earn staking rewards on the platform, i.e. on Coinbase. Coinbase is also looking to facilitate interoperability between the recently launched Ethereum 2.0 and ETH mainnet. Users will be able to trade either token without any constraints. However, it is important to note that all staked ETH 2.0 tokens will remain inaccessible. You won't be able to touch them for a yet undisclosed period of time. Coinbase plans to provide liquidity for ETH and its recently launched Beacon chain, as well as other cryptos on the American exchange. Quick announcement here by Crypto.com. You can now access margin trading, which is live on the Crypto.com exchange. So you can add margins to your account and get up to 3 times leverage. For more info and a how-to guide, you can check out this video here, which is a reply to the original tweet. You can also check out our guide and our coverage of this story on altcoinbuzz.io. Crypto.com launches margin trading, this article by Rachel. Get access up to 3 times leverage on your BTC USDT trading pair using the new Crypto.com margin trading feature. And Crypto.com is also celebrating the exchange listing of Curve, CRV. You can now trade CRV in USDT and CRO pairs now. You can check it out and log in at Crypto.com. Don't forget, guys, as always, you can access our $25 bonus deal for the Crypto.com CRO Visa card. When you order yours, you can sign up using our link in the description and in the comments below. You'll get $25 loaded on for free using our exclusive code AB. Again, check out the information in our description and our comments below. That about wraps it up for today, everybody. Hey, we mentioned VeChain at the outset of this video. Let us know in the comments below what project you would like us to focus on next as far as price predictions, as far as outlooks for December and beyond, perhaps 2020, 2022 and beyond. And these projects can be top 10s, they can be more esoteric or more obscure. Let us know in the comments below when there is a consensus, if you will, that is reached by the Altcoin Buzz community. That's what we choose to focus on as always. So do be sure to share your thoughts about that. Do be sure to follow us, guys, on all the regular social media channels and keep checking back into the website altcoinbuzz.io for all the latest. Like, subscribe, share, hit the bell to receive notifications if you guys enjoyed today's video, and best of luck, of course, if you do choose to invest. Stay safe, everybody, and we do hope to see you again soon in our next piece. Take care.